All right, Troy Kearns coming to you live from Las Vegas, Nevada. We are about ready to go visit one of my good friends, Michael O'Hegan. I met Michael O'Hegan about 15 years ago, and we're on our way to his store. He was an investor, and he saw that I sold a lot of properties. I was a real estate agent at that point in time. I still am. I'm about ready to get my license back, though. We recently just partnered on a deal. We got to know each other where he had the deal. He had less of the cash because, you know, when you're investing in real estate, your cash is out on the streets. And when your cash is out on the streets, sometimes you need other guys that you trust that you can partner with on and feel comfortable taking half of something. But now he buys a whole shopping center because now he's the anchor tenant. His business is now the anchor tenant of a huge shopping bill. What's an anchor tenant? I know you want to know. The anchor tenant is the person why other tenants feed off, and they're the one that generally has the larger footprint. And if they go away, generally the shopping center struggles to get along. Hence the word anchor. If they go away, the whole shopping center sinks. So him being the business owner and the anchor tenant and the landlord, and most importantly, qualifying for SBA financing, that allowed him to buy this whole property. Now, him as a real estate minded person, he's looking at all these opportunities as the on-site manager now of this huge complex, and he's gonna get into all those details. He's allowed us to come in here and film his location. Here it is. I'm gonna tell him he needs to, you know, get that sign looking a little bit nicer there. He should have really on there a for leasing sign. So Michael, when you come watch this video, that thing should say for lease, for lease, for lease. I should see all sorts of lease signs. Maybe this is not his spot, so maybe I'm just talking trash right now about Michael. Sorry, Michael, didn't mean to do that. But if it is yours, you know what to do. All right, hey, we're down here at Avatar Foods with Michael O'Hegan, and he's gonna give us a tour of his operation. You wanna tell us why you bought this shopping center, what you guys build out here? Because you've been flipping homes for how many years?
About 20 years now.
That's how I met you when I was selling the REO homes.
Yep.
Now you're out here, bought this big shopping center. How big is it?
It's about 120,000 square feet with 10 acres.
And this was bought on SBA financing?
It was bought on SBA financing.
Which is a great thing, because that means you only had to put 10% down.
Only 10% down. We're the primary tenant for both my office and my production facility and market. And we're the primary tenant. You have to have over 50% of the square footage.
51.
Over 51% of the square footage to qualify. When we got our financing, we pay less in a payment than we did in rent just for our space.
What were you paying as your rent?
We were paying about $50,000 for the one spot, and maybe about 5 or 6 with cams.
Is it below 40 now?
It's right around 40.
Okay, so you're saving $10,000.
And I have everyone from PTs and Big Five and a dance studio and
lots of opportunity.
GameStop. Everyone else is paying my payment.
Is there any money coming out of your pocket?
There is.
Okay.
It's a minimal amount, but there is cams and there's other stuff.
Cool.
Come on in.
All right, sweet.
So here is our office for our company. These are the brands we own, and we represent one of them, but we're the main distribution, but we own these brands. We built them up over the last 14 years, and we finally got our new facility in here open up running for the last year and a half or so, and we're doing good.
I just thought you were a flipper all along. You might have told me 20 times.
I'd be doing a lot more flips if I wasn't doing a food business at the same time. So,
Right, okay.
I've done maybe 500 flips over the last 20 years. So you can see in here, just as just our office, we kind of built it up, and you know, purchasers and controllers and lots of different people. These are, you can see some of the stuff we make. We make all the salads on the West Coast for Whole Foods. We do all
let's talk about it a little bit. Which clients are you? Because you got some big time clients.
We built them up over the years. So when we started, the company had like three employees. I bought a pita bread company after I lost my butt in 2007.
So in 2007, you got your butt kicked in real estate. Killed.
Millions of dollars in 6 months out the door. Should have bought a fleet of Ferraris, but I didn't. I just lost the money. I learned diversification is important. Right. You know, multiple streams of income coming in from anything you do. You know, that's how I ended up buying a pita bread company. One of my friends was a chef, and he said, hey, there's a good opportunity.
Is that your partner?
Yep, my partner Diego. He brought me the business opportunity. Always good to have friends to do business opportunities with. You keep people around you that you make money together.
Loyal and trustworthy people, which is like we built trust over 15 years. That's why we did a deal together.
That's right. Within 4 months, 5 months, we lost 60% of that business.
How much did you pay for this business?
Probably bought it for a couple $100,000 with all the equipment.
Have you ever done anything with pita bread before in your life?
Nope. I've eaten it. I've eaten pita bread. We have about 175 employees, customers that range from Costco to Whole Foods, Coffee Bean and Tea Leaf. We do stuff for Home Chef now. Willingness to Sonoma just contacted us because they saw our cookies at Whole Foods. Thank you.
Are you called a co-packer? Is that what you're...
We co-pack the salads for Whole Foods.
Can you explain to our audience what co-packing is?
So co-packing is when you either have a relationship with someone or a big company like Bristol Farms or Whole Foods requests a product and they want to put it under their own label. Whole Foods requested that we put the salads under their label because it brings much bigger buying power. It's a more trustworthy brand, of course, because it's Whole Foods.
So a lot of the food that Whole Foods has their label on, you made?
A good amount. A lot of the salads. On the West Coast, most of the salads. I produce more in my facility than they could do in-house. So it makes it more efficient. My employees are cheaper. My facility is cheaper. I have bigger equipment, better equipment. I produce it more economically.
What's the gross business revenue running through here?
It's somewhere in the, under 20 million, but getting close.
Why did you make the investment in this property? What led you, because this is a major move.
It is. It was pre-COVID. Things were going great, and we had 3 locations. So our 3 locations, everything from a pita bread factory, a food distribution type center with coolers and freezers, and then we had a factory that produced all our salads and burritos and food like that. Someone else was trying to buy it at the same time, and we didn't have the money to do it. So we purchased with the option of, we leased with the right of refusal of purchase. So when the guy was ready to sell, we would be the first buyer in line. That was important. We have our whole marketing team. They designed like our cookie box for Costco. It was designed from nothing. We created it all in-house. So our own marketing team came in. This isn't exact. They have little sleeves and they're, airproof type of stuff. But these are cookie pies, just so you know. Our invention is this cookie pie that my partner developed. So it tastes like a cookie and a pie in one, and it's really good.
Good.
It came to the point where you start putting in $3 million plus $3 to $5 million of upgrades to your place. You want to own it.
Right.
You don't just want to rent it, and then what happens when they raise the rent or stuff happens and you're not
in control.
You're not in control, exactly. You're not in a position where, hey, I need to know that $3 to $5 million I spent already, I'm going to benefit it from the next, 5, 10, 20 years, depends how long I keep the company.
Because you got a lot of equipment in here. What are you producing with the equipment?
You'll see, but we have a full vegetable processing facility. We have a full USDA facility. So the USDA facility allows us to produce all the meat, the broccoli and bacon salads. We co-pack for an African food company, and they sell in Kroger and Target, and we co-pack for them.
So let's take a brief pause. First, I want to ask you, if you're interested in getting him to co-pack for your business, if you're trying to get a hold of him, you have a major company and you see this video and you're like, hey, I need somebody who does this type of stuff, how do they get a hold of you?
Well, we're avatarnaturalfoods.com. Michael at avatarnaturalfoods.com is the best way to email me too. One of the great things and upside on my center was that we took this unit, which is the main Food for Less that was here.
Which is called a
anchor tenant. The anchor tenant is us. That allowed me to get my SBA loan. But the upside is there was a lot of vacant space. So the vacant space for my office was about 4,300 square feet. It wasn't being used. Since I was gonna buy it, I took it and said, hey, we don't want to pay rent until we, 6 months down the road, and we bought it before that occurred. A company called Earthwise is going to go here. They do dog food, they do grooming, they do pet sitting.
So you're doing exactly what I talk about, tenant mix. You're picking the tenants that you think will feed best off of your store.
They're a high-end natural dog food market, or
that
dog food, pet stuff, any pet supplies, and it's a high-end.
That customer's coming into your store because they're the same customer that's coming into that store.
And the people dancing, the mom drops their kids at dance, then where are they going to go? They're going to come to us and get some food.
I think 90% of the reason commercial centers fail that I've seen is tenant mix. You put the wrong tenant mix, or you got an anchor tenant that can't self-support. You can self-support, this thing's empty.
Correct.
Because it's your business.
That's correct.
So if this whole place goes and kicks, everybody moves out, he's still got this building.
And I'm paying less than I would in rent.
Just so we have a good view right here, where does yours start and end?
My property starts at PT's Pub, which is mine, thank you. If they ever move out, I'm having a pub.
And Phil and Tom, the guys who started that, sold that business for like 32 million to Golden Gaming, and now they're just full-time real estate investors as well. So it all leads back to real estate.
I use a lot less parking spaces than a Food for Less would. So by code, I don't need to have as many parking spaces. So I can convert these parking spaces into other beneficial things.
That's a point we need to drive home. Let's pull over real quick right there. The real estate play here was Food for Less, because of the zoning, required an X number of spots based on what they were selling and what kind of traffic that they would drive.
Correct. I don't know the exact numbers on how many, but as a food manufacturer with only 15,000 square feet of market, I need a lot less parking spaces. So I have to see what's the best use of my parking lot. I don't want an empty parking lot. I want stuff that makes me money. Right. I can either put an ATM in. We're going to be offering great deals on beer, ice, all that.
So ice, can I put an ice machine here?
You can. We can put an ice machine here.
Okay, so you want to go 50-50 on it?
I don't know. You better get me some details on it first.
Here's the details. $50,000 or something like that. You put in a hose, you don't do anything else that produces ice, and we collect money.
And how big a space we need?
2 parking spots, not like that space, that much space.
You got to get me the ROI on it. Those are valuable parking spots.
So everything that we're talking about right now boils down to what is known as cap rate, right?
Correct.
So Michael, what he's realizing as a landlord is that, okay, now I've got reduced parking space. This is not making me any money. How can I turn this into make this make more money, which means that the value of the building goes up. What is this cap rate in this area? We
were lucky because it was of what it was, and this wasn't the best neighborhood at the time. We bought it in around an 8.5 cap rate.
So that's a high cap rate, which means that he's able to get a better value when he buys it, because if it's a lower cap rate, has the reverse effect, it's worth more money. So high cap rates generally mean
less good areas, not national tenants,
right?
Those type of things.
But you got a national tenant right there, Lowe's. You got a big time local tenant, PT's here. Lowe's is not your tenant, but Lowe's is a tenant.
Goodwill's there, Bank of America, IHOP, all these things are going to bring people in.
All right, so what are you doing over here? You're telling me one thing you're working with the city on to do what?
There is going to be a $50 million Boulder Highway renovation and reconfiguring to make it safer and more pedestrian friendly. The people in the city of Henderson, economic development, and our councilwomen are working quite hard to make it the best thing possible for us.
But there may be land that you trade or something like that.
Yeah, I might be able to expand my holding by working with them, correct.
That's going to give you more land. Like, he's got a lot of dead space here, so you're looking to add.
We want, we might put a Dutch Brothers in here. We may put a
Starbucks.
There's a Starbucks close by, so a Coffee Bean and Tea Leaf, a Pete's Coffee. We already sell the Pete's and Coffee Bean, which is good. I can put a double drive-through. I just have to figure out how I want to configure it with my architect, and maybe able to put a fast food place, a healthier fast food place, because we're a healthy company, but also a coffee shop.
Food, you got to put a retail center that's a no-brainer.
Of course.
And here's the other thing that he can do is he can tie that in to his ROI, just depending on how he structures the lease. Based on, you could do like a gross lease where that hits the bottom line, brings the value of the whole land up. So there's just so many different angles that you could go with.
Of course. I mean, you can put an ATM, you can do a lot of stuff.
One question, how many properties did you look at before you bought this one? And was this a scary situation for you?
This was a super scary situation.
Right.
You're putting a lot of money out there. You're liable for multi-million-dollar leases. I'm liable. It's
Right.
not like, hey, it's not, it's there. It's a big chunk. The company is too big now for me to bail it out. I can't bail it out myself unless I liquidate huge amounts of my real estate portfolio, which I don't want to do. This is newer. So this is a 05, where a lot of the stuff we were looking at is from the 80s, 90s,
Right.
you know,
This is
older
just
stuff.
This is just a failed, mismanaged shopping center.
It was when there's no growth in your area, it's bad. But
When
now
you're
this
when you're
area,
when you are the anchor tenant and you need the space and you're a real estate developer and you're a flipper and you understand the game, then it's the perfect thing for
then
you.
it's a great spot. You want to be in a rundown center and you can revitalize
You want it because
the center and the neighborhood.
Well, and also that is if he was buying this as an investment, he'd have to put 35% down. What did you pay for this building?
$10,340,000.
So if he was to buy this as an investment, it would cost him $3.5 million. As an SBA loan, his down payment was
$1,200,000, somewhere in that area, with all the other stuff we had to add.
and your rent came down substantially amount, so you'll make that back very quickly.
So we're in at, you know, a blended under 4. There you go.
So all right, so where are we at right now?
This is our factory. Over here to the left is where the pita bread and bakery stuff gets baked.